5:30 p.m. Everyone, declaration of voting of tonight's ordinary council meeting is made at 5:30 p.m. I'm Chris Antonio, from members of the public, lucky enough to be chairing tonight's meeting. So we're on page 6 of the agenda for those who've got that in front of them. So we've got item number 2 is opening procedures. Item 2.1 is acknowledgement of countries. The Shire of Northern would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land in which we meet, and that is both the Ballarong and Whadjuk people of our Noongar Nation, and we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Now, I neglected to welcome everyone, welcome councillors, staff and members of the public. And just a reminder to members of the public, it's an ordinary council meeting, so tonight is a decision-making night. So we had the question and answers last week and we've got the decisions this week. Just remind, we've got 2 sections of the meeting which is coming up soon when members of the public can participate, and so I will defer to the members of the public at that point in time, and that's the only time that members of the public are able to participate in tonight's meeting. So we're still on page 6, so we've got item 2.2, so recording of council meetings, so this is fairly new. So we've got members of the council are well aware, if not, I'm reminding them, and members of the gallery, and that's members of the public, are advised this meeting will be live streamed. It's online now and audio recorded and made available on the Shire of Northern's YouTube channel. And you're able to have access to that at any stage. And you can get that from the Shire of Northern website. So item number 3 is attendance. So we have 7 councillors sitting around the table and 1 president, and so we'll just get there in a minute to the rest. We have the staff, that'll be updated for the staff that are sitting here. We seem to have a plethora of staff tonight, so that'll certainly be recorded correctly. And we have item 3.2 is apologies. We have an apology from Councillor Ryan, so hence he's not in attendance. So we're on page 7. So we have item 3.3 is approved leave of absence. That is nil. And item 3.4 is absent. That is nil. We now go to page 8. So disclosure of interest, which is item number 4. So we have a number. So we have item 13.1.1. So the item is Wundowie Progress Association, review of lease. Wundowie Hall, that's 47 Boronia Avenue, Wundowie. We have declarations of impartiality from Councillor Appleton as members of the Wundowie Progress Association are known to Councillor Appleton. Councillor Biglin, impartial. Councillor Biglin is the Secretary Treasurer, unpaid, of the Wundowie Progress Association. Councillor Gierak, impartiality. Several members of the Wundowie Progress Association are known to Councillor Gierak. Councillor Hughes, impartiality. Some of the members of the Wundowie Progress Association are known to Councillor Hughes. Councillor Polton, impartiality. Councillor Polton knows the members of the Wundowie Progress Association. And just to let everyone know that Councillor Polton did put another declaration of interest in, just in case anyone's wondering, because we think last week we only ticked 4 so we're making sure the ordinary council meeting is included tonight. Councillor Williams declared impartiality. Some members of the Wundowie Progress Association are known to Councillor Williams. Councillor Williams is an executive member of the Bakers Hill Progress Association, which currently leads the Bakers Hill Recreation Centre, which is mentioned in the agenda item. The same item, 13.1.1, President Antonio has declared impartiality as executives of the Wundowie Progress Association are known to President Antonio. And same item, Councillor Mancelli has declared impartiality. Members of the Wundowie Progress Association are known to Councillor Mancelli. So we have item 13.3.1, proposed outbuilding, 91 Gillett Road, Northern. President Antonio has declared impartiality. That's me. Neighbours opposed to the application are known to President Antonio. Item 13.3.2, proposed gymnasium, childcare centre and group dwellings, 380 Fitzgerald Street, West, Northern. Councillor Williams has declared impartiality. One of the Councillor Williams' children owns and resides in a property close to the proposal on Fitzgerald Street, but it's not in proximity And that's all the declarations of impartiality. Councillors are well aware it's an item tonight. They are able to make a declaration at the time of the item. We are now on page 10, so it's item number 5, announcements by the presiding member without discussion. So that is as written. We go to page 12. Item number 6 is public questions. So this is when members of the public, this is the first time out of 2 that members of the public can participate in the meeting. So I have asked some of the members of the public if there's any questions. I just want to check with all 4 members of the public if there's any questions. No? Okay, so item number 7 is response to previous public questions taken on notice. They are as written, so I don't need to read them out again, but that is as written there. And then we go to page 13. So we have item number 8 is receiving of petitions, presentations and deputations. That is nil. 8.1 petitions is nil. 8.2 presentations is nil. And then we go to page 14, we've got 8.3 deputations. This is when members of the public can apply to make a statement if they so wish. So I'll just check with members of the public again. Thank you. So item number 9 is applications for leave of absence. So we have a recommendation there as written, and there was no questions asked on this last week. So I'm just looking for a mover and a seconder.
Not moved.
Councillor Mencheli is moving, Councillor Gierak is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. So we go to item number 10, confirmation of minutes. 10.1 is confirmation of minutes from the ordinary council meeting held 24th January 2024. There was no questions or clarifications on this last week either. Councillor Hughes is moving. Councillor Bigland is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. We're on page 15 now. So item number 10.2 is minutes from the annual electors general meeting held 24th of January 2024. There was no question or queries on this last week. There's a recommendation there. Councillor Gierak is moving. Councillor Mencheli is seconding. Councillor Gierak. So anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. And we have item 10.3, which is notes from the council forum meeting held last week, the 14th of February 2024. This is a new item, so I want to check if there was any questions or clarifications on those notes first from councillors. So otherwise there's a recommendation as written. Councillor Hughes is moving. Councillor Mencheli is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. We now go to page 38. So item number 11 is items brought forward for the convenience of those in the public gallery. I know members of the public are interested in items, but I think we're going to get to those pretty quickly, and I want to make it easy on our officer instead of doing a jack in the box like we did last week. I'm going to bring those all normal. So then we're still on page 38. We have item number 12, reports of committee meetings. That is nil. We go to page 39. So item 13 is officer reports. 13.1 CEO's office. 13.1.1 One Dowey Progress Association. Review of lease, One Dowey Hall, 47 Baronia Avenue, One Dowey. Just a reminder that councillors Appleton, Bigland, Gierak, Hughes, Polton, Williams, Mencheli and Antonio all declared impartiality in this item. And we have the recommendation on page 45. Councillor Gierak moved. I saw Councillor Gierak first, even though he said it first. Councillor Mencheli seconded. So anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. We now go to page 50. So item 13.2 is engineering services, that is nil. Item 13.3 is development services. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. I was going to invite you up, but you beat me to it, so just want to make sure that you were invited up. It wasn't just a demand. So we have on page 50, the first item is 13.3.1, proposed outbuilding, 91 Gillett Road, Northam. There was question and answers on this in the forum notes. Just a reminder that President Antonio, that's me, declared impartiality in this item. So they've got the background and there's a recommendation on page 53.
I'll move the recommendation.
Councillor Kelly moved, Councillor Williams seconded. Is there anyone likely to speak against? If not, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. So we now go to page 62. So items 13.3.2, proposed gymnasium, childcare centre and group dwellings. That's 380 Fitzgerald Street West, Northam. Just a reminder that Councillor Williams declared impartiality in this item. We have the background. We did have a lot of discussion and question and answers on this last week. We have the background and we have a recommendation on page 66. And for the inactivity of council, I just wanted to see if there's any more queries or clarifications on this first. No? So we do have a recommendation there, starting on page 66.
Mr. President, I'll move the recommendation as presented.
Councillor Kelly is moving.
I'll second.
Councillor Hughes is seconding. Is there anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. Now, members of the public, you'll know we've dealt with your items, so I did forget to tell you before that you can stay for the whole meeting. You're quite welcome to stay for tea and drinks and camaraderie afterwards. But as your item's been dealt with, you're quite willing to go as well without recognition of me. So it's up to you. So I just thought I'd remind everyone with that. We are now going to page 86. So 13.3.3, proposed medical centre, 122 Fitzgerald Street East, Northam. There's a recommendation on page 90 and 91. Councillor Gierak is moving. Councillor Appleton is seconding. Is there anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. So that was much different to last week. So can I invite Goodsay up, please? So we're now going to page 102. So 13.4 is corporate services. 13.4.1 is accounts and statement of accounts, January 2024. I think there was some question and answers provided on this, and there's a recommendation on page 104. Councillor Gierak is moving. Councillor Appleton is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. We now go to page 155. So item 13.4.2, financial report for the period ending 31st January 2024. The recommendation on page 158. Councillor Hughes is moving. Councillor Polton is seconding. Is anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. We now go to page 172. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Councillor Williams. So I'll just go back to page 158. Thank you. So yes, we've done the first one. That's exactly right. So the second recommendation This was the schedule of fees and charges. So, yeah, it's just as above. I don't think there's any questions on this, but it's pretty clear in the report. Second recommendation, thanks Councillor Williams. Councillor Williams is moving. Councillor Gerac won that race. Councillor Gerac is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. We now go to page 172. 13.4.3, transactional banking and merchant services. So, transactional banking and merchant services, there was question and answers on this. There's a recommendation last week, there's a recommendation on page 176.
I'll move the recommendation as presented.
Councillor Mantelli is moving. Councillor Polgen is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. We now go to page 177. Make sure I've got that right. So we go to 13.5, community services, that is nil. Thank you. Item 14 is matters behind closed doors, that is nil. Item 15, motions of which previous notice has been given, that is nil. Item 16, urgent business approved by decision, that is nil. Item 17, declaration of closure is made at 5:46 p.m.
That's a report.